Clara lived a simple life in a small, cozy cottage on the edge of a vast, whispering forest. Each morning, the sun would peek through her window, casting soft light on her collection of pots and pans hanging in the kitchen. She loved the sounds of nature, waking up to birds singing and leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Clara was known in her village for her kindness. She often helped her neighbors with their gardens or baked treats for the children at the local school. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. One crisp autumn afternoon, as she gathered firewood near the forest's edge, Clara heard something unusual. A faint sound that seemed like muffled cries. Curious and concerned, she followed the sound deeper into the woods, her heart racing with both worry and excitement. The towering trees cast long shadows on the ground, and the air felt cooler as she ventured further. Suddenly, Clara stumbled upon a small clearing where she saw them. 3 pale children huddled together beneath an old oak tree. Their skin was as white as snow, and their eyes sparkled like diamonds in the dim light. They looked frightened and alone. Clara felt a rush of compassion for these lost souls. She approached them slowly, making sure not to frighten them further. "Hello there," she said softly, bending down to their level. "What are you doing out here all alone?" The children glanced at each other before one of them, a girl with long, flowing hair, spoke up. We don't have anywhere to go." Clara's heart ached at their words. "Well, you can come home with me. I have plenty of food and a warm place for you to stay," she offered gently. The children exchanged glances again, their expressions slowly shifting from fear to hope. They nodded silently, and Clara reached out her hand. The girl took it first, followed by 2 boys who clung to each other tightly. As they walked back to her cottage, Clara couldn't help but notice how strangely quiet they were. They didn't talk much or ask questions like most children would. Instead, they seemed to observe everything around them with wide eyes, like they had never seen sunlight or felt grass beneath their feet before. When they arrived at her home, Clara led them inside and introduced them to her little kitchen filled with the delicious scent of freshly baked bread. "Would you like something to eat?" she asked cheerfully. They nodded eagerly, but remained silent as Clara served them slices of warm bread with butter and honey. The way they devoured their food made Clara realize just how hungry they must have been. It filled her with joy to see them enjoying something so simple. After dinner, Clara decided it was time for bed. She had prepared 3 cozy spots in her living room with blankets and pillows she had saved for chilly nights. The children looked at each other hesitantly before climbing into their makeshift beds. Clara tucked them in gently, feeling a sense of warmth spread through her heart as she watched their tired eyes flutter shut. As she turned off the lanterns and stepped outside for some fresh air, she thought about how these children needed her care and love more than anything else. But even as she settled into bed that night, Clara couldn't shake off an odd feeling that lingered in her mind. Who were these children? Where did they come from? While she drifted off to sleep, those questions buzzed around like fireflies in her head. Days passed as Clara took care of the pale children, whom she affectionately named Lily, Finn, and Oliver, growing closer with each moment spent together. They brought a different kind of joy into her life. They played games during daylight hours and listened intently when Clara read stories by candlelight at night. However, there were things about them that puzzled her more than ever. Their reluctance to play outside for long periods, or their impressive ability to remain perfectly still when someone walked by outside, seemed strange for children of their age. as much as Clara cared for these unique kids, there remained an unsettling mystery surrounding them, one that would soon unveil itself in ways she could never have imagined. But for now, under her loving roof, they were safe and happy, blissfully unaware of the dark secrets that awaited just beyond the trees of the forest, where they had once been abandoned. As days turned into weeks, Clara found herself settling into a new routine with the three pale children. She enjoyed their company, but there were peculiarities about them that began to concern her. For instance, while most children ran joyfully into the sunlight, Lily, Finn, and Oliver seemed to prefer the shadows of her cottage. During sunny afternoons, Clara would invite them outside to play, but they often hesitated, casting wary glances at the bright light pouring through the trees. "Come on, it's a beautiful day," Clara would encourage, her voice cheerful as she tried to coax them into the sun. Lily would glance at her with those sparkling eyes, then shake her head gently. "We're fine here," she would reply softly, adjusting her position closer to the shaded porch. At first, Clara thought they were just shy or perhaps a bit overwhelmed by a world they hadn't known for so long. However, it soon became clear that their reluctance went deeper than mere shyness. She began to notice that as the sun sank lower in the sky and the shadows grew longer, their energy shifted dramatically. They came alive in the late afternoon and early evening, laughing and playing games inside, while avoiding any direct sunlight. Clara observed these changes with growing curiosity, but also unease. At night, after tucking them in bed with soft blankets and pillows, she often heard their giggles echoing through the house as she prepared for sleep herself. When she tiptoed closer to check on them, they were always wide awake with sparkling eyes, whispering secrets or sharing stories among themselves in hushed tones. "It's late. You should be asleep," Clara would remind them gently upon entering their room. But instead of looking sleepy, they'd flash wide grins and snuggle deeper under their covers as if ready for more late-night adventures. "What do you do all night?" Clara asked one evening, hoping to learn more about their strange habits. "We play our own games," Oliver replied mysteriously with a smile that made Clara's heart flutter, a mix of affection and concern. And so it went. The more she cared for them, the more questions swirled in her mind. One afternoon, while cooking in her kitchen, Clara noticed something else odd. Despite eating well during meals, slices of bread slathered with butter or hearty stews, they never seemed to grow stronger or healthier in appearance. Their skin remained unnaturally pale and smooth like porcelain. Worried about their declining vitality, Clara sought advice from neighbors during her shopping trips to the village market. "They're just shy children," one neighbor suggested with a shrug when Clara mentioned their odd sleeping patterns and aversion to sunlight. "You'll see, they'll warm up to you. Just give it time." Despite this reassurance, Clara couldn't shake off her worries. One particularly hot day led her to believe something was seriously wrong when all three children chose to remain indoors rather than cool off in the shade or play near the pond nearby. "Don't you want to swim?" she asked excitedly after bringing home colorful beach balls for summer fun. Lily looked at Finn and Oliver before shaking her head again. "The water looks cold today," she said quietly. That comment puzzled Clara because it was an unusually warm day for autumn. Even she felt tempted by the refreshing water on such a sweltering afternoon. As daylight dwindled into twilight each evening, with stars slowly appearing in a deepening sky, the children would sometimes peer out of windows as if watching for someone or something. Their expressions flickered between curiosity and apprehension whenever they heard a distant rustle outside. Eventually, Clara decided to confront them directly about these strange habits one calm evening as they sat together on the couch reading. Placing a hand on Lily's shoulder gently, she asked softly, "Why do you prefer staying inside? And why don't you sleep at night like other children?" Lily fidgeted slightly before speaking up with caution. "It's hard for us. We don't feel safe outside when it's so bright," Finn added quickly, "and nighttime is when we can be ourselves." His eyes sparkled like silver stars reflecting light as he spoke these words. Clara's heart thudded at his response, though full of innocence and sincerity. It only deepened her worries about what lay beneath their unusual lives, hidden away from view. Were they hiding from something? What exactly did they mean by being themselves? As questions swirled in Clara's mind, like winds through leaves outside her cottage window that night, she remained determined to uncover more about these enigmatic children who had captured not only her heart, but also her very soul with every passing moment spent beside them. As the weeks went on, Clara's initial apprehension about the children's peculiar habits began to fade as she immersed herself in caring for them. The connection she formed with Lily, Finn, and Oliver blossomed into something beautiful, transforming her home into a vibrant space filled with laughter and joy. Every evening would find Clara settling in with the children at their cozy little table by the fire. This quickly became their storytelling nook, where tales of adventure and wonder floated around like playful wisps of smoke. Clara often recounted stories from her own childhood, of courageous knights and clever princesses, enchanting forests and magical creatures. In return, Lily, Finn, and Oliver shared their own imaginative tales, though they often brushed over details that seemed odd or mysterious. Their stories were filled with fantastical landscapes and mythical beings, but always revealed a subtle hint of something deeper beneath the surface. "Once upon a time," would begin Lily one night, "there was a girl who danced with shadows in the moonlight." Clara listened intently as she described a world where light could transform into gentle whispers that guided lost souls back home. Although Clara noticed hints of sadness intertwining within their words, she cherished these moments. The closeness they shared carved deeper paths in her heart. Mornings settled into routines filled with warmth. Clara introduced pancakes topped with fresh berries, which soon became the children's favorite breakfast dish. They would giggle together while trying to flip them on the griddle, flour dusting their cheeks like fairy powder. "Flip it higher!" Finn would shout playfully as he jumped up like an excited pup trying to catch butterflies. Clara loved teaching them small things, how to plant seeds in the garden or knit colorful scarves for winter. With each new skill learned, she watched as their confidence grew. Oliver became an expert at tying knots, while Finn showed great promise in planting tiny seeds in neat rows. Their hours spent together turned into cherished memories, a string of laughter echoing through halls lined with picture frames depicting happy times spent as a makeshift family. Clara made it a point to embrace every moment. When autumn arrived, painting leaves gold and red outside her cottage windows, they crafted garlands adorned with fallen foliage, gathered during gentle walks where Clara taught them the names of trees and animals they encountered. However, it was during those tender moments when bedtime stories faded into whispers that something special glimmered among them. A bond thicker than blood began to weave itself through simple moments shared together. One starry night, after stories came to an end, they sat cuddled under cozy blankets near the crackling fireplace when Clara decided to ask about some secret traditions they might possess. "What do you do for fun?" She smiled encouragingly at them. Her eyes sparkled under soft light. Lily exchanged glances with her brothers before leaning forward eagerly, her voice low but excited. We dance, at night under silver beams. Dance? Clara asked curiously. Yes, Oliver chimed in. We imagine all sorts of twirls around the stars. A sense of joy swelled within her chest at their excitement. Clara felt an irresistible urge to join their nightly merriments. Can I join? The children's eyes widened with glee before they erupted in contagious fits of laughter that warmed even her heart deeper than ever before. As dusk fell that very evening, along with its comforting embrace filled with twinkling stars aligning themselves above her roof, Clara found herself outside under glowing moonlights, casting silvery patterns across soft grass beneath her bare feet, while close rings enveloped all three pale children, dancing like luminous sprites, swirling happily around her. They spun slowly at first, but soon broke free into exhilarating circles full of spirited spins and delighted shrieks. A magical enchantment enveloping everyone present as they flowed freely amongst sounds whispering across air, like brushed silk fluttering softly downwards toward dreamy slumber. Amidst colorful echoes vibrating all around them, faded gently until breathless laughs surrendered, finally giving way into calmness, wrapping up snugly every playful memory collected throughout days, spent vigilantly caring for one another, growing ever closer along life's unpredictable roads ahead. Through these bonding experiences, illuminated by understanding, patience deepened through familiarity. They unknowingly united themselves as something extraordinary today, marked just more than mere memories among friends during fleeting moments shared together. They solidified what truly meant becoming family together. As the seasons changed and leaves began to fall from the trees, whispers of concern about Clara's three pale children grew louder in the village. The once peaceful townsfolk had begun to notice peculiar happenings in the woods near Clara's cottage. Rumors spread like wildfire, igniting fears that were deeply rooted in old tales and legends passed down through generations. One afternoon, while Clara was in the market gathering ingredients for dinner, she overheard two women discussing her family in hushed tones. "Have you seen them? Those strange children?" one woman asked, glancing around as if someone might overhear. "They don't play like normal kids. It's as if they come alive only when the sun goes down." "Exactly. And I swear I saw a flickering light near their cottage last night," the other replied. "It was eerie. I've heard stories about creatures lurking in those woods. What if they're not just children?" Clara felt a chill run down her spine. She finished her shopping quickly, her heart racing as she wondered how many others shared these unsettling thoughts. She had always known that the children were different, but she had never considered them a danger to anyone. They were her family now, and she would do anything to protect them. That evening, Clara gathered Lily, Finn, and Oliver around the fireplace for their usual story time. As they settled on the soft rugs with blankets draped over their shoulders, Clara noticed that the children seemed unusually quiet. Their eyes darted to the windows every time a rustle echoed outside. Clara could feel a tension hanging in the air, a heaviness that made it harder to breathe. "What's wrong?" she asked gently, brushing back Lily's hair as she looked into her worried eyes. Lily shifted uncomfortably before responding softly. "We heard some people talking today. They said things about us." Finn curled closer to Oliver and whispered something that Clara couldn't quite catch. She felt her heart ache for them. They were just children trying to find their place in a world that didn't understand them. "They're just rumors," Clara reassured them firmly. "People often fear what they don't know, but you are safe here with me." As Clara spoke, she felt growing determination within herself. She needed to confront these rumors before they spiraled out of control and threatened her little family. The following day, she planned to visit some of the villagers she trusted most, those who had always treated her kindly and supported her endeavors. The next morning, Clara set out for the village once again. This time, she approached Mrs. Haverford first, the village baker known for her kindness and wisdom. As Clara entered the warm bakery filled with sweet aromas, Mrs. Haverford looked up from kneading dough and smiled brightly. "Clara, it's lovely to see you," she exclaimed, wiping flour from her hands onto her apron. "Thank you," Clara replied nervously before diving straight into conversation. "I wanted to talk about some rumors I've been hearing about my children, about Lily, Finn, and Oliver." Mrs. Haverford frowned slightly as she listened intently. "Ah, yes. I've heard whispers too," she admitted quietly. "But child, you must remember, people can be superstitious." "I know," Clara said earnestly, "but these children mean no harm. They just want to be loved and cared for like any other child." With a sympathetic nod, Mrs. Haverford leaned closer and spoke softly. "Rumors can be dangerous things. They feed off fear and misunderstanding." Clara took a deep breath. It was time to act decisively before fear took root among the villagers. The next evening, with determination burning brightly within her heart, Clara organized a gathering at her cottage, a chance for villagers to meet her children and see just how wonderful they truly were. Invitations went out to those whom she felt would be open-minded enough to give this unusual family a chance. As twilight descended upon the village, lanterns flickered outside Clara's cottage, welcoming visitors who arrived with cautious curiosity etched on their faces. With every knock on the door, Clara felt butterflies dance in her stomach. Would this work? Would her children be accepted? When everyone was settled inside and enjoying warm tea by firelight, Clara introduced her children with pride shining in her voice. One by one, Lily, Finn, and Oliver stepped forward shyly, yet filled with eager anticipation as they greeted each guest warmly. For hours that night, laughter mingled with stories shared beneath twinkling stars seen through open windows. The air filled with warmth rather than fear as friendships began to form right there among them. The villagers watched as Clara's 3 pale children played games with glee, singing songs that made hearts flutter, as though music infused each moment, binding spirits together amidst joyful connections forged anew under clear skies. Slowly but surely, those whispers of doubt began transforming into understanding, a gentle reminder that love could conquer even the most stubborn fears lingering unnoticed beneath layers of uncertainty built over time. As Clara settled into her days filled with warmth from laughter and storytelling, a new unease began to creep in. After the villagers' acceptance during her gathering, she thought their relationship would be mended. But now, each night, a shadowy figure lurked just beyond the tree line, watching her family with an intensity that sent chills down her spine. At first, Clara dismissed it as her imagination, a figment of worry born from the village whispers that had surrounded Lily, Finn, and Oliver since their arrival. Yet night after night, the figure appeared like clockwork. The children seemed blissfully unaware of the presence so close to them. They danced happily in the moonlight, or nestled under blankets telling stories of magical lands where all creatures were kind. But Clara could not shake the feeling of being watched. One evening, while sitting by the fire, she peeked out through a crack in the curtains, and there it was again. A tall silhouette cloaked in darkness, nearly blending in with the shadows cast by the trees. It stood motionless at the edge of the woods until she caught its attention. Then it melted back into obscurity. "Am I losing my mind?" Clara whispered to herself. unable to dismiss the increasing sense of dread that accompanied her every glance toward the forest. Determined to uncover what this figure wanted and why it lingered so close to her home, Clara decided she needed to take action. The children deserved to know that they were safe. She began by discussing her thoughts with Mrs. Haverford over freshly baked bread one crisp morning. "I keep seeing someone, or something, watching us from the woods," Clara confided, trying not to betray the depth of her fear. "That old forest has many secrets, my dear," Mrs. Haverford replied thoughtfully, as she poured tea into delicate china cups. "People talk about shadows appearing after sunset. Some say they are guardians, while others believe they bring misfortune." "I need answers," Clara insisted. "Whatever is out there won't go away on its own." Emboldened by Mrs. Haverford's encouragement, Clara planned an expedition for herself, one that would uncover whether this looming threat was hostility or something else entirely. That evening during dinner, she mentioned wanting to explore deeper into the woods after dark. Lily's eyes widened. "But what if it's dangerous?" "We'll stick together," Finn chimed in confidently, while Oliver nodded in agreement. Clara thought for a moment before smiling softly at their eagerness to join her adventure despite their initial fears. She felt reassured. They were truly a family now. As twilight descended upon their cottage later that night, lanterns glowed against gathering darkness around them, creating pathways illuminated by warm glimmers, guiding them cautiously forward into quiet depths, refreshing every step taken. With hands intertwined tightly among lavish blankets, burdens seemed lighter than air. Filled only buoyed hope, running deep, seeking truth, waited upon those eager hearts carried forth. Arriving beneath aged branches, reaching skyward, their silhouettes brushing against nebulous stars, hanging like diamonds above intricate canopies, arching gracefully. Clara's heart slowed as she steadied herself amidst swirling ambience. Energized, each voice echoed tenderly. Familiar threading along lively discussions, held spontaneously stirred around fires, gently burnishing flickering shadows, invoking adventure's beginnings anew. Daring breaths deepened, inviting mystery weaving forth. Directing voluntary steps closer toward darkness, where whispers lingered. Echoes of soft sighs emitted transcendently tumbled amidst rustling leaves, filling spaces forgotten between branches, anticipating mystical shifts, preparing lost stories unbound, or solidifying dreams left dormant, while barriers fluttered, casting silently, thousands, unseen, now waking once more, magnetic feelings glowing brightly, deflecting awareness beyond realms, framing expectations woven tight, ensuring purpose remains secure. Grounding paths, brightly illuminating landscapes, lingering further, revealing calls anchored ever inward, closer reached freedom. Realized completely stretching boundlessly beyond what meant daringly become life. Wild reviving, woven tenderly, sweetly together, brushed against love shared. Wide open hearts, expanding, filled brightness, igniting everything turned true awake. A sudden rustle in nearby bushes snapped her back into reality as they approached, where shadows huddled low, melding rather easily unnoticed. Suddenly aware, startled gazes exchanged briefly, yet illuminating clarity soared boldly inward, offering warm embraces, nestled safely against uncertainty birthed, quiet understanding longing, searched grounding trust, followed tightly entangled souls already woven within circles drawn amidst phantoms who served protective boundaries, safeguarding mysteries, tethering journeys, soothing never-ending bronzed hues, ever elevated new experiences, endlessly stitched anew, lingering possibilities, thriving through interwoven destinies, chasing light, transforming roads once traveled, spun wild, already yearning, joyous whispers exchanged, danced blissfully celebrated whimsy, ushering forth together on joyous journeys, shared brightening trails shining across horizons, shimmering brightly, beckoning nobody behind, illuminating it all. Hence forevermore surely experienced a live chance, blooming happiness, flourishing within song. shared becoming songs, heard sweetly sung alive, fiercely nurtured, wrapping all, fond hearts devoted living, intertwining, inviting wondrous discoveries, placed softly pressed, lovingly, emerging forever onward, boundless amid magic, unerringly unfurling across kindred spirits, striking winds, carrying songs lifted high, vast reaching minds, surely driven witness strong choice, continually celebrating, still chasing fate, unveiled, shining through exaltation, living bold threshold, broken swinging smiles emerge, eyes sparkling bright encounters, promised, resolutely, reaffirmed, ever warm embrace, questioning dusk, flown yet, come full circle, flinging open nature unveiled ahead, roaming sunsets, shining just as kindly greeted, alongside gentle tomorrows, beckoning bright, shameless horizons, spiraling freely becoming radiant tales, spun anew. Turning pages forwarding tales forever, unfolding. Joyous wisdom, carried high, unfurling dreams, brought clearly welcome, fully fledged, wandering endless adventures, sprung endless miles, traversing amongst events never forgotten, mere moments anywhere yearning hearts intertwined. The peaceful routine Clara had created began to shift earlier one morning when she ventured into the garden to pick herbs for their dinner. The sun sparkled through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the ground as she enjoyed the refreshing scent of earth and plants. She felt light-hearted, grateful for the moments shared with Lily, Finn, and Oliver. "That should be enough, Basil," Clara said, leaning over to collect a handful when she suddenly lost her balance. The ground shifted unexpectedly beneath her, a hidden hole concealed by the thick grass, causing her foot to twist awkwardly. With a gasp, she stumbled backwards, her heart in her throat as she desperately reached out for something to grab. In that instant, time seemed to slow considerably. Clara held her breath, preparing herself for whatever impact was about to follow. Her eyes went wide with fear, fear of falling and fear of hurting herself away from her children. What would they think? Would they be scared? But within a heartbeat, two things happened almost simultaneously. Clara felt an unusual warmth enveloping her body, as though held by an unseen force, and she heard laughter echo lightly around her like musical wind chimes ringing delicately in the summer breeze. With a sudden jolt, Clara found herself standing upright again, safely on solid ground, mere inches from where she started before almost tumbling backward. Bewildered, she twisted around and saw Finn grinning up at her, while Lily and Oliver jumped excitedly nearby. "What just happened?" Clara's voice trembled slightly, part confusion and part marvel at how quickly it had unfolded. You were going to fall," Finn exclaimed joyfully. "But we helped." "Helped?" Clara echoed slowly. A mixture of disbelief and awe filled her as the reality of what just transpired sank in. What did he mean by helped? Lily stepped forward confidently. "I felt it. You were teetering back like this," she demonstrated with wild arm motions mimicking Clara's previous panic stance. "And then we just knew. I felt like I could do something." Oliver chimed in fervently. Clara's heart raced with both excitement and dread. Could they have done something extraordinary? These children were already enigmatic beings in her life, now revealed to possess unexplained abilities that defied reasoning. Before she could say anything further, dramatic energy burst forth once more. The world around them shimmered strangely vibrant. The sunlight danced between branches overhead, as if igniting under their presence. Lily interrupted Clara's thoughts with clarity shining bright from deep within, paired with unburdened joy, radiating. "You should come play near the pond. We've found something magical." Could it be related to what had just occurred? Driven by curiosity mingling courage within, Carrie's hearts opened during often quizzical challenges accepted together. They headed toward their usual clearing, wrapped warmly beneath soft grasses, blooming brightly, inviting secrets, yet uncovered, rejoicing evermore, simply treasured, shared endless moments. As they approached the pond, Clara sensed something vibrant in the air, radiant with potential inviting possibilities. Glittering ripples reflecting nature's infinite beauty. Bestowed among them fluttered whimsically painting shades upon a glow brighter than expected, forgetting momentarily prior distractions entirely. There. Finn pointed animatedly towards clusters of wildflowers lining edges where water met land. A spectacle alive, bursts breaking free. Was resting rhythmically gleaming, inviting clarity, calling beckoning wonder ever onward, bemused beneath patiently waiting currents, who twinkled. Down brightly bubbling stories alive, once revealed pulled daringly onward, cascading colored trails, awakening adventures born alive, anew. Suddenly, radiant lights cascaded right above water, trickling playfully, illuminating faces, glimmering curiously dipped within laughter, combined jubilantly. Setting wonders imagined unexpected, opened hearts, thriving within splendid melodies spun generously throughout efforts, reeling backward, creating threads forever sewn anew, singing brightly open along orbit spans, racing eternity, traced through hearts turned once hidden, now truly known. Embraced eternally chasing dreamt hopes, spryly blossomed beneath mysterious stars, veiled pure delight, paved roads revealed silently awash, whispering promises, camouflaged yearnings softly sprung, envisioned, fueled bright remain among fingers pressed against pure joy. Gleefully coax ambitions, soaring, gaining strength, climbing tethered ladders, undeniably reaching horizons, yet unfathomable. Boundless embracing collective draw, pulling them closer, gently guiding always alongside breathing reverences, belonging wide open, chased tenderly midst, roiling streams, flowing bravely, hugging lines drawn, dancing freely released, weave pooling life, cherished eternally woven together, across expanse, unconditionally united, loyal destiny, cradling loved. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude enveloping her heart. A realization dawning that these children were anything but ordinary. They were extraordinary beyond measure. Yet amidst warmth cherished existed ebbing fears, tinged brightly dancing echoes, preventing premature conclusions, lingering just before leaving trails still thickening. Tempting. Or testing whether secrets once unveiled rankled deeper fears unmet. Blurring designs, entwined meant molded filigree. Beautifully crafted lives, destined pressed strongly forward, always threading woven together, close joining hands, tightly forging, diffracting unique tales, entwining infinite flights, experience dancing. They layered fragility, lifting carpets drawn, stretching high beyond doubt. Rising boldly across luminous bridges, lighting realms beyond brilliantly casting forth fluid tenderness, unwrapping exhilarating journeys, none could set ever astray. Paving reality's spun-aligned promise imprinted now afresh. The days that followed the revelation of the children's extraordinary abilities were filled with new excitement and curiosity. Clara watched as Lily, Finn, and Oliver began to explore their powers more confidently, often practicing little feats like making flowers bloom at will or causing tiny ripples across the pond with a gentle wave of their hands. Clara felt a mix of pride and fear, knowing that they were special, but unsure of what that truly meant. One rainy afternoon, while tidying up the attic in search of old winter blankets, Clara stumbled upon a dusty chest buried under a pile of forgotten furniture. Intrigued, she pulled it into the light and opened it slowly. Inside lay an assortment of old toys, faded clothes, and at the very bottom, a weathered leather-bound book. Clara took it out, its cover embossed with intricate patterns that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. Curiosity piqued. She carried it downstairs to the kitchen, where she set it on the table. The children, noticing her excitement, gathered around her, eyes wide with interest. "What is it, Clara?" Lily asked, her voice filled with anticipation. "I'm not sure yet," Clara replied as she brushed off the dust and opened the book. The pages were filled with strange symbols and beautiful illustrations depicting mysterious creatures and ancient legends. As she flipped through them, one illustration caught her attention. A detailed drawing of 3 pale figures resembling her children, but depicted in regal attire, standing proudly before a grand castle shrouded in dark clouds. "This looks like a story about," Clara began, her voice trailing off as she squinted to read the faded script beside the illustration. "The Vampire King's heirs." A chill ran down Clara's spine as she continued reading. The text described a tragic tale of 3 young princes who were cursed to roam the earth until they could break the spell held over their family legacy. The curse was said to bind them to darkness and diminish their powers unless they could find true love and acceptance. "No," Clara whispered to herself in disbelief. Could they really be vampire princes? The rumors she had heard around the village suddenly clicked into place. The shadows, the perceptions of strangeness surrounding her children, all had hinted at something more. "What does it say?" Finn urged, leaning closer. Clara took a deep breath. "It says here that if they are not accepted for who they are, they'll be trapped forever in darkness." She looked at her 3 children, who hung on her every word. Their innocent faces reflected confusion and fear as they processed this shocking revelation. "Is that why we have powers?" Oliver asked quietly. Clara nodded slowly, overwhelmed by how much was spinning inside her mind. She felt emotions swirling within her, fear for their safety mixed with a fierce desire to protect them no matter what this meant. "Listen," she began softly, kneeling down so she was eye level with them. "No matter what this book says or what anyone else thinks, you are my children. I love you for who you are." They exchanged glances, seeming to draw strength from each other as Clara's words settled in the air around them, an unspoken promise binding them closer together. "But what if?" Lily started timidly. "What if we can't break the curse?" Clara embraced them tightly, feeling their small bodies press against hers, a comforting weight in a world filled with uncertainty. "We will figure this out together," she reassured them. "We have time to learn and grow." As they pulled away from their embrace, Clara noticed something extraordinary happening around them. A faint glow began to shimmer softly in the air, like fireflies dancing against twilight. It flickered gently, illuminating delightful smiles as they relished newfound hope, embraced tightly beneath knowledge shared vital feelings coursing within. "Let's keep reading," Finn exclaimed enthusiastically, his eyes sparkling brightly, now cradling dormant dreams, awakened once again, thriving. Waiting poised, ready, soaring boundlessly farther. As Clara reopened the book and continued reading aloud, she felt a sense of purpose swell within her heart. The power of love, intertwined with bravery, would guide them forward into whatever awaited ahead. Together, they would uncover secrets hidden deep within these pages. The path leading towards potential breaking curses, binding lives while forging bonds, transcending darkness, lighting radiant roads, beckoning bright futures full of adventures, yet unknown, waiting patiently just beyond horizons, shimmering, invitingly, unfolding forevermore. As Clara sat with the children around the kitchen table, the weight of the old book's revelations pressed heavily on her mind. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on the walls, and she felt as though the very darkness surrounding them was alive, whispering doubts and fears into her heart. Lily, Finn, and Oliver were not just children. They were vampire princes bound by a curse, a truth that shook her to the core. Clara watched as Lily colored quietly, her brow furrowing in concentration. Finn and Oliver giggled softly as they played a game of make-believe nearby, unaware of the turmoil swirling in Clara's mind. How could she protect them from both the world outside and their own identities? What if the villagers learned about their true nature? Would they accept them, or would fear drive them away? She remembered the rumors that had circulated through the village, how easily suspicions spread among those who didn't understand. Clara's heart pounded at the thought of confronting such a reality. She loved these children fiercely. But how could she keep them safe without revealing their secret? The burden felt impossibly heavy. It was a decision that could change everything. Clara? Finn's voice broke through her thoughts, pulling her back to the present. Are you okay? She forced a smile, hoping to mask her internal struggle. Of course, sweetie. Just thinking about dinner. But deep down, she felt torn between two worlds. The world of love she had built with her children, and the darker world hinted at in the pages of that book. Later that evening, after putting the children to bed, Clara sat alone in the living room. The flickering lanterns cast warm light around her, while shadows loomed in every corner. She could almost feel the presence of that shadowy figure watching yet again, waiting for her to make a choice. Should she confide in someone? Would seeking help from Mrs. Haverford or another trusted villager provide clarity? Perhaps they could offer guidance on what to do next. But then again, what if their knowledge led to fear or worse, fearful actions against her beloved children? Clara took a deep breath and closed her eyes, envisioning each child's face, their laughter, their innocence, their warmth. Each moment spent together echoed in her mind like melodies entwined in harmony, a harmonious family despite everything else lurking outside. Just then, a soft knock sounded at the door, startling Clara out of her reverie. Gathering her courage, she creaked open the door to find Mrs. Haverford standing there, wrapped snugly in a shawl against the evening chill. "Clara," she said with concern lining her features as she stepped inside. "I wanted to check on you. I heard strange things tonight." "What do you mean?" Clara asked softly, anxiety creeping back up inside her. "There's talk among some villagers about your children," Mrs. Haverford replied gently but firmly. "They've noticed odd things, how they move too fast or how they appear so pale even during daylight." Clara's heart sank. This was exactly what she feared most. "They're different," she admitted quietly. "But they are good children. They need love and understanding." "I know," Mrs. Haverford replied with empathy shimmering in her eyes. "But people fear what they don't understand. It can lead to terrible misunderstandings." Her words settled upon Clara like an unexpected storm cloud looming overhead. They ignited a fire within her determination that demanded action rather than retreat from uncertainty. "Maybe it's time for me to tell them," Clara declared suddenly, feeling resolution build up inside much stronger than before, much like an anchor tethering firmly amid tumultuous waves crashing around life. "I can't hide this anymore. It's not fair to them." Mrs. Haverford nodded thoughtfully. "That might be wise, but remember to approach it gently. Their world has been transformed overnight." With renewed strength coursing through her veins, Clara turned towards the hallway, leading to where Lily, Finn, and Oliver slept peacefully, unaware of what lay ahead, but forever trusting beneath layers intertwined forevermore. At dawn's first light, warming everything anew, beckoning forth, Clara made her way toward their cozy beds, determinedly prepared, readying herself, unearthing secrets, lingering patiently, waiting finally revealed, claiming once more lives meant never diminished. Brighton standing boldly, awaiting whatever journey lay beyond, known paths leading forth, chasing hope, igniting passions, soaring high, inviting acceptance, soaring through dreams, unleashed toward futures wild, yet shining brightly, promising freedom regained. Clara's heart raced as she made her way into the depths of the forest, guided by a mixture of determination and anxiety. The shadowy figure had been lurking for too long, and she could no longer ignore it. Her children needed her to confront this mystery, to protect them from whatever threat might be hidden within the darkness. The air felt different as she stepped deeper into the woods. It was heavy with anticipation. Clara could hear the rustling of leaves, the distant call of a bird, and her own heartbeat echoing in her ears. She had never ventured this far from the safety of her cottage before, but the urgency to uncover the truth propelled her forward. Finally, she reached a small clearing where the moonlight spilled through the branches, illuminating the ground. And there he stood, the shadowy figure that haunted her thoughts. He was tall and cloaked in darkness, his features obscured but unmistakably regal. Clara felt a surge of fear wash over her as she stepped closer. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice steadier than she felt. The figure turned slowly, revealing sharp features and piercing eyes that glimmered like silver in the moonlight. "I am he who has been watching over my children," he said, his voice deep and resonant, sending shivers down Clara's spine. "Your children?" Clara echoed, a mix of confusion and anger bubbling inside her. "You mean Lily, Finn, and Oliver? They are mine now. They belong with me." A sad smile crossed his face as he took a step forward, shadows swirling around him like mist. "You do not understand. They are not just any children. They are vampire princes, heirs to a throne cursed by their lineage." Clara's breath caught in her throat as memories flooded back, the strange habits they exhibited, their aversion to sunlight, the powers they displayed. Everything fell into place like pieces of an intricate puzzle. "You're their father?" she whispered in disbelief. "Yes," he replied solemnly. "I am their father, and I have come to reclaim them." Clara felt rage ignite within her. "Reclaim them? You abandoned them. You left them to face the darkness alone." The figure's expression darkened, his gaze unwavering. "I had no choice. The curse binds me just as it binds them. I sought only to protect them from our world's dangers." "They are safe with me," Clara argued fiercely, feeling her heart pound against her ribcage. "Whatever curse you speak of can't hold power over them if they are loved." "Love alone may not be enough," he warned, stepping closer still. "The curse demands acceptance from both worlds, the world of light and the world of darkness. If they do not reclaim their true identity soon, they will be lost forever." Conflicted emotions swirled within Clara, like a tempest. Her love for the children clashing with fear for their safety and uncertainty about what this revelation meant for their future together. Did she have the strength to fight against a legacy so powerful? Suddenly, a rustle from behind drew Clara's attention. She turned just in time to see Lily, Finn, and Oliver emerging from the trees, their faces filled with confusion and fear as they spotted their estranged father standing before Clara. "What's happening?" Finn asked cautiously as he grasped Lily's hand tightly. Clara felt panic rise within her as she realized she had not anticipated this moment. The moment when her children would confront their true lineage. "I've come for you," the figure said gently but firmly, kneeling down to meet his children's gaze. You must choose your path. Choose? Oliver repeated softly, looking up at his siblings before back at his father. Yes, he replied. You can embrace who you truly are or remain here in this world without your full potential. Clara stepped forward protectively. They can choose to stay with me. They belong here. The three children exchanged glances, filled with uncertainty. Clara could see their minds racing, a battle between loyalty to their mother and the pull of their origins. Mom, Lily began hesitantly. Clara knelt down beside them, brushing her fingers through their hair tenderly. You don't have to decide anything right now, she urged gently. What matters is that we face this together. Finn looked at their father and then back at Clara before speaking up with newfound courage. We want to know who we are. A flicker of hope ignited within Clara, even amid despair. Maybe this was not an end, but rather a new beginning. A chance for understanding rather than division. I will help you discover your heritage, said the father softly, but with pride swelling in his chest, as tension hung thick in the air around them. A crossroads lay open before all four souls intertwined, deeply grasping tightly among hands, held steady against uncertain futures, yearning towards brighter tomorrows beckoning forth. Clara knew that whatever lay ahead would demand strength from all sides. Love woven deeply into every step taken forward, embracing destinies unfolding boundlessly anew. The tension in the clearing hung thick as Clara, Lily, Finn, and Oliver faced the shadowy figure of their father. The air was charged with emotions, fear, relief, uncertainty, as the children processed the revelation of their true identities. Their father knelt before them, a regal yet somber presence that demanded their attention. I have come to bring you home, he said gently, his piercing eyes softening as he gazed upon his children. You belong in our world, where you can fulfill your destinies as princes of our lineage. Clara felt her heart race, torn between the love she had for her children and the fear instilled by this sudden revelation. The thought of losing them was unbearable. She had fought to create a safe haven for them from the dark shadows that lingered outside. And now it felt as if those shadows loomed closer than ever before. Home? Clara echoed incredulously, stepping protectively in front of the children as though forming a shield against the reality encroaching upon them. They are home. They have a family here with me. They do not understand the weight of our legacy, their father replied, his voice steady but edged with frustration. They are bound by a curse that can only be lifted when they claim their true identities. Lily reached out, her small fingers tugging at Clara's sleeve. Mom, what does that mean? Are we leaving? Clara turned to her, desperately searching for reassurance in her daughter's wide-eyed gaze. No, sweetheart. You don't have to go anywhere. Her heart cracked at the unease reflected back at her. We will figure this out together. But what if... Finn began hesitantly, looking up at his mother. What if we can't break the curse? What if... Enough! Clara interrupted sharply, shaking her head. You are not cursed, my loves. You are special, and whatever threats are out there will not separate us. Their father observed the interaction with an unreadable expression, part pity, part resolve. Clara, he said slowly, this isn't just about you or me. It's about what is best for them. They must choose who they want to be. As his words sank deep into Clara's heart, a thought took root. A choice lay before them, one that would alter the course of their lives. The forest around them seemed to darken as clouds gathered overhead, echoing the weightiness of her decision. Mom, Oliver spoke up quietly but firmly, looking at Clara with unwavering trust. We want to know who we really are. Clara felt a struggle within. Could she bear to let them go, or should she insist they remain with her instead? Her eyes widened with fear as she considered the implications of her choice. If she pursued what was familiar and safe, keeping them sheltered within her loving embrace, would that ultimately deny them their true potential? But then again, was it fair to lose them to a past she didn't understand? With these thoughts swirling in her mind like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind, Clara realized they all stood at a crossroads, a moment that would define not just their futures, but the relationships they held dear. "What if I told you?" she began slowly, pausing to gather courage as her heart raced. "That I would do whatever it takes to keep you safe, even if that means facing whatever awaits us together, choosing love over fear." Silence fell heavily around them as Clara looked into each child's face, searching for signs of understanding and acceptance among the uncertainty creeping into their hearts. Lily gave her a small nod, while Finn squeezed Oliver's hand tightly. "I want to be with you, Mom," Finn said finally. "I want to learn about who I am, but I don't want to leave you." Clara smiled softly through her fear. It was enough for now. Whatever lay ahead could only be faced together. As they turned their gaze back to their father, Clara felt a new determination rising within herself. "If you truly believe your children can fulfill their rightful place, then let's work together," she declared boldly. "But I will not stand aside and let fear dictate our choices." The mysterious figure regarded Clara thoughtfully, seeing the strength and love that swelled brightly within her heart. "Very well," he replied slowly but firmly. "We shall explore this path together. But remember, acceptance must come from both worlds." With a united front established against uncertainty ahead, intertwined closely among hands clasped tightly together, Clara knew they would confront mysteries unveiled before them, while holding close the threads of love that bonded them timelessly forevermore. As dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Clara felt a sense of resolve settle within her. After the tense confrontation with their father, she understood that the path ahead would require courage and love. The children needed her now more than ever, not just to protect them, but to help them navigate their newfound identities. Clara gathered Lily, Finn, and Oliver around the kitchen table that morning. The air was filled with the cozy aromas of breakfast cooking, but beneath it lay an undercurrent of anticipation, a weight that hinted at the significance of what was about to unfold. "Today," she began, her voice steady despite the anxiety bubbling beneath her calm exterior, "is a day of choices. We will explore what it means to be who you truly are." She watched as their expressions shifted from curiosity to concern. Uncertainty clouded their youthful faces as they processed her words. "I thought we were safe here," Finn said quietly, glancing at his siblings for reassurance. "You are safe here," Clara assured him gently. "But this is also your chance to understand your heritage, who you are meant to be. We must find a way to break the curse together." Clara took a deep breath, recalling everything she had read in the old book, the stories of their lineage, and how acceptance was crucial to breaking free from the bonds that held them captive. "We'll need guidance," she continued. "Your father may have insights into how we can lift this curse." "But do we have to go with him?" Lily asked tentatively, fear flickering in her eyes. Clara knelt beside her daughter, brushing back her hair tenderly. "No one has to go anywhere they don't want to," she reassured. This is about choice, yours and mine. The children exchanged glances filled with uncertainty and hope as Clara stood up straight again, filled with newfound determination. Let's start by visiting your father together today. We can confront whatever lies ahead as a family. With hesitant nods from Lily and Oliver, Clara felt warmth blossom in her heart. They were ready for this journey together. They finished breakfast quickly before heading toward the clearing where they had first encountered their father. As they walked through the forest, hand in hand, Lily on one side and Finn on the other, with Oliver tucked closely behind, they felt both excitement and trepidation coursing through them like electricity. Thick branches arched overhead, while beams of sunlight danced upon their path, a stark contrast to the shadows that loomed within Clara's mind. Reaching the clearing, Clara paused momentarily before stepping into view among trees, inviting lush green foliage swaying softly under whispers, carried upon gentle breezes, beckoning forth unexpectedly enticing journeys, yet unfurling. And there he stood again, the shadowy figure cloaked in mystery. But this time, he bore an expression of anticipation rather than somberness. "Welcome." He greeted them solemnly, yet warmly. His presence seemed less daunting as Clara's heart steadied amid swirling emotions once more, gathering strength emanating outward, reverberating softly throughout. "Father." Lily spoke up faintly yet bravely, stepping forward slightly ahead. Finn squeezed Oliver's hand tighter, urging silently comforting support found reassuring among gathered strengths woven close. "I've come to help you embrace who you are," he replied sincerely, while kneeling down toward them, prompting closeness, invoking understanding amidst new beginnings unfolding. Lines blurred between worlds long kept apart, now gradually converging, resolutely, embracing bright futures anew. Clara stepped forward beside them, boldly prepared, embracing unyielding fortitude, while holding tightly onto precious threads woven among shared hope. "We will learn together," she declared passionately. All must breathe fresh air, filled with possibility, inviting courage, stretching boundaries, brightened spirits, born anew. Walking paths flooded glowingly along gentle trails, measurably growing not just toward destinies unknown. Bursting forth illuminating previously unseen horizons, still waiting patiently, beckoning lovingly, revealing profound truths forever known. "I will share your legacy fully unveiled." The Father's voice resonated powerfully across stillness surrounding enchantment, shimmering brightly twinkling stars above spiraling forth. Guidance whispered always gently. As they embarked on this new chapter together, Father reuniting with his children and Clara holding steadfast at their side. A powerful bond formed under moonlit skies, promising joyfully uncharted territories, sparkling brightly, promising adventures alive, brimming freely, guiding onward confidently into days yet untouched. As Clara stood in the clearing beneath a vast canopy of trees, she took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought her to this pivotal moment. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden glow across the landscape, illuminating the faces of Lily, Finn, and Oliver as they stood hand in hand with their father. She felt a profound sense of gratitude for the path they had walked together. A path filled with both challenges and love. The past few weeks had tested her in ways she never imagined possible. When she first discovered the 3 pale children abandoned in the woods, her heart swelled with compassion and determination to protect them. Little did she know how intertwined their fates were, with secrets buried deep within their history that would unravel everything she thought she knew about family. Now, with their father standing beside them, Clara realized that love was not simply about keeping them sheltered from the world. It was about allowing them to explore who they truly were, embracing their heritage as vampire princes while ensuring they could navigate this new reality together. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of pride at how far they had all come. "Are you ready?" Finn asked, looking up at her with eyes reflecting a mix of excitement and anxiety. Clara knelt down so she could meet his gaze directly. "I'm ready if you are," she replied softly, feeling resolute. "No matter what happens next, we face it together, as a family." Lily smiled brightly behind her brother's shoulder, clutching Oliver's hand tightly. "Together," they echoed in unison. With newfound strength pooling in her heart, Clara turned to their father. "What do we need to do?" He nodded respectfully at her commitment before slowly gesturing toward the ancient stones nestled along the edge of the clearing. A place where time seemed suspended amid shadows, woven deeply into histories long forgotten. "Here lies a gathering site, where those who walk between realms have once found strength and clarity," he explained gently. As they approached the stones, forming a circle worn smooth by centuries of touch and devotion alike. Clara sensed energy building within. The air crackled as if charged by something primal and potent. Waiting patiently for acknowledgement, long-denied yearning once more, ignited life renewed. Gathered within that sacred space, formed by nature's design, stretching toward skies, sprawling above endless possibilities, brimming forth heralding new beginnings. Clara felt hope unfurling inside, boldly knitting threads that bound them intimately together. Generating warmth, flickered lighting flames, glowing brightly, emphasizing steadfast unity. Drawing nearer, evident amid whispers, swirling among ancestors, beckoning forth beautifully transcribed songs, soft breezes, carrying tales, laden lessons, needed revered. "Stand close together," their father advised, while reaching out his hands encouragingly towards them. Invitingly welcoming bonds, shimmering gently clasped flows, intermingling light, weaving through links drawing family closer than ever before. Each heartbeat resonating like distant drums, calling forward rhythms, unveiling stories, yet unwritten. As Clara took hold of each child's hand, her heart raced along paths drumming steady. Uncertainty clearly cloaked still loomed ahead, but now embraced firmly interlaced through cherished hearts, sparking truths lived anew. Emerging, enduring warmly, boundless souls, courageous gathering brighter illuminating horizons, promising freedom, unfurling willingly, uncovered through connections, ever deepened, founded upon love, lasting amidst blooming hopes rising. With every pulse, echoing fortitude, entwined joyfully among spirits, radiating faith, acknowledgement deeply sown. Urging united strides forward, gently guided through what awaited, embracing transformative discoveries. All tested yet shining victors destined together, beckoning alongside dreams, lost among lingering sighs, breathing strongly, once floundering, finally anchored forging onward, discovering home. Within intertwined destinies, unified forever. Laying roots, growing passionately strong beneath open skies, inviting adventures unfolding across timeless pathways crafted by choices made, brightened boldly, illuminating all bonds, cherished deeply stitched forever, engaging lifetime legacies, written vibrantly alive. Painting realities spun through kindred hearts, courageously drawn forth, blending vivid hues, imaginable born vast complexities, woven on soul-laden tapestries, awaiting journey, blossoming forever, brightened, opening doors, flourishing shadowy veils, inviting possibility, flowing forth, vibrant belief, striding confidently, united onward. And so began a new chapter for Clara and her children. A legacy not only defined by blood or cursed lineage, but woven timelessly together from sheer love, dedicated, bravely shared, abundantly blossoming, as one family resolutely embracing beautiful futures bursting into life, where endless possibilities awaited beyond every horizon, shimmering brightly, dreaming still boldly, despite what lay ahead.